Well, happy Tuesday, everybody. Thank you for joining me for this devotion and our Bible reading plan. We are in the Gospel of John, chapter 10 today, or I'm sorry, chapter 19. Chapter 19. I guess I need more coffee this morning. John chapter 19. And if you've not read the chapter already, please do so. This is the chapter where we read so much about the suffering of Jesus Christ. And I want to focus for a few moments on how people treat Jesus. In the opening 3 verses of chapter 19, the Roman soldiers scourged Jesus, which means they beat him with a whip to the point that, well, those scourgings were so severe that sometimes people died from them. And his flesh, his back and sides would have been a bloody mess, just cut after cut after cut. They mocked him. They pretend to salute him as a king, and they hit him in the head with a reed or a stick. They put a crown of thorns on his face, the purple robe on his back, mocking him because purple was the color of royalty. So the soldiers are mocking him, and later in the chapter, in verses 23 and 24, they confiscated Jesus' outer garments, his clothing, and just divided among themselves, and they rolled dice for his robe. And verse 18, they crucified him, which means they drove the nails in his wrists and feet. In verses 33 and 34, a Roman soldier thrust a spear into Jesus' side. So Roman soldiers abused Jesus physically and emotionally. And then you have the chief priest and other religious leaders of Judaism who were jealous of Jesus, filled with envy. Some who knew who he really was but would refuse to acknowledge it and really believe in him. They cried out in verse 6 saying, "Crucify him, crucify him." They did that again in verse 15. They said, "We have no," in verse 15, we have no king but Caesar, which is really sad, because they would say only God was their king, but here they hated Jesus so badly they said to Pilate, "No, Caesar's our king, not Jesus." Pilate found no guilt in Jesus, saw no reason for him to be executed, but yet gave in to the crowd and had him executed. Did the wrong thing even though he wanted to do the right thing. He just didn't want to do it strongly enough. There were some women in verse 25 who did not abandon Jesus but stayed near him at the cross. In verse 26, the disciple whom Jesus loved, which is John, who's writing this gospel, John, one of his disciples, was also at the cross. So not everyone abandoned Jesus at the cross. There were women there. John was there. Joseph of Arimathea and Nicodemus, who was a Pharisee, Nicodemus, Joseph of Arimathea, they ceased being secret disciples, went in and asked for the body of Jesus and buried him. And what was interesting to me is the different ways different people in this chapter treated Jesus. And as I was reading this chapter and thinking about that and praying about it, I kept asking myself, how am I treating Jesus? How am I treating Jesus? And my prayer ended up being, "Lord, help me to honor you every day." Not just some days, but every day. And help me honor you in front of everyone, not just the people that make it easy for me to honor you, Jesus, but among the people and the places that it can be intimidating to honor you. Just help me treat you right, Jesus, no matter where I'm at and who I am around. I was just touched by the way Jesus was treated badly, but also good by different people. And in my prayers that I'll always be among those who treat Jesus well. What about you? How are you treating Jesus? How are your words treating Jesus? How are your decisions treating Jesus? How is your lifestyle treating Jesus? How are you treating Jesus? On Sunday mornings when we're supposed to gather with the people of God and worship Him and study His Word, how are you treating Jesus on Sunday morning? I think how we treat Jesus matters. And I think it says a lot about us. That's the word for today. Look forward to being with you tomorrow, brothers and sisters.